welcome back to Current Calamities, where I take a break from the past to look forward to the future with the games of the present. Now, I don't know if you heard, but I found out recently that Wario likes to...
WarioWare Move It! Yet another surprise WarioWare game coming to our screens when we least expect it, this time with a familiar look and playstyle we all know and love.
I remember when Get It Together was announced, that pretty much came out of nowhere, and it felt the same way here when I tuned into Nintendo's latest Direct.
It's time to move it.
Yeah! As many of you should know, I'm a big fan of the WarioWare series. I consider it one of the best of all time. I reviewed Get It Together back when it was new, and while I didn't think it was the strongest entry, it still had its charm, but I want to focus our attention on Smooth Moves in particular, as Move It may have a connection to it.
With the similar look and the fact they primarily use motion controls for the microgames, sounds like a spiritual sequel is upon us. I've heard many consider Smooth Moves to be the best in the franchise, so not a bad one to rework from the sound of it. Alright, take it away, Wario.
You want some context with your WarioWare? You're not going to get it initially, as the opening cutscene starts talking about some sort of ancient legend about stones that look a bit familiar. Wario, meanwhile, stops by at this burger vendor as they serve it with his garlic, and happens to win a getaway voucher, which is good to bring all of his friends along for the ride, to his annoyance, of course. What I want to know is if the title screen is interactable, and it is. Somewhat.
Kinda hard to wave the waves. Not as simple as whacking the Wii remote back and forth.
Going right into story mode to catch up with what Wario is up to. He's already being a butt to the locals, rejecting their gift of the form stones, causing a chain reaction that gets himself separated from the group. He also inadvertently gets the wrath of the indigenous peoples of the land, so now we have to flee for our lives.
Don't be surprised now, Nintendo, if your Switch logo gets used for a cult or something. You made the case that symbol works for a mask, cause you can't get over the fact the PlayStation symbols were used for Squid Game.
The game now begins, and it's in the traditional WarioWare format. You're thrown microgames one after another, and you must complete them before the timer runs out. Do what is asked and you'll move right along, which is fairly easy to do. It is the first level after all, and I'm enjoying all the quirky microgames that are coming up. Complete enough microgames and you'll eventually encounter a boss. They're usually longer and will require a little more attention, but once you tackle that, you'll keep going, or in the story's case, Wario will escape the inhabitants and live to be a cat another day.
At least he isn't trying to rip off his friends this time around. They get to enjoy their own vacation, and we get to enjoy it with them. Upon completing Wario's stage, more stages will open up. Only one for now is Mona, and upon seeing silhouettes of mer-people in her brochure, decides she wants to find them for herself. Pulling the opposite of the Little Mermaid plot, wishing she could be part of that world.
In Mona's games, we now have more than one form to use for them. You'll be shown a specific form before a microgame starts, and it will be essential to play them like how they're shown, as that'll have the best effect. We only had the Choo-Choo form for Wario. Mona gives us the Night and Sky Stretch forms, and I love how they're like the monotone intro from Smooth Moves, but have their own ancient spin on things.
I also like how each introduction starts with that acoustic strum.
Mona's games are known to be strange, and that carries on here as they're more out of the ordinary than the others you'll encounter, so much so that I don't quite figure out a couple of them, but it was still enjoyable. Especially the boss stage was quite entertaining. Didn't get to see the mer people, however, as we had something more important to do. Save Lulu.
I don't think our priorities are in order. Now more friends open up, and we have 3 of them to check out in any order we wish. Going to try and speed things up while highlighting the little gameplay quirks I ran into.
I started with Dr. Krygor and family, who traveled back in time to see the eccentric caveman who made some drawings, followed by Ashley, who needs to reverse Red's shrinking upon eating some wild berries, and Orbulon is mistaken for a god while losing his memory, so his ship tries to restore it back. Ashley's games were pretty harmless and fun. I thought I might have an issue with the boss, but we got around it. The others I actually had some difficulties with. I shouldn't be too surprised as I'm playing these for the first time, but sometimes it's tough to decipher what's being asked of you so quickly, especially on your first run. It also doesn't help that these new forms come into play and they can also throw you for a loop.
Oh geez, you're forcing me to use the wrist straps? Wouldn't be an issue if they didn't suck, so I'm just gonna drop them.
If you do fail a microgame, you'll lose one of your 4 given lives, you lose them all, and the game is over, but for story's sake, you'll be able to continue right where you left off, where if you were to replay it, you'd just be going for a high score.
One of my favorite pastimes is to just get better at these microgames. If this becomes an esport, I'll be ready.
From here you'll get a remix stage which finds all the characters we met thus far except Wario enjoying their time on the island together while getting into some silly shenanigans which will eventually find them on a tour bus. Microgames are repeated with the difficulty turned up a bit, a simple test that you used to do with Jimmy alone. So they'll come up but are pretty much harmless. Speaking of Jimmy, he and 2 Oriental friends are next.
Let's see if I can explain things a little faster. Time to speed up.
Kat and Anna have their map stolen by their nemesis, who isn't doing too hot, being eaten by not a piranha plant, but perhaps a distant cousin. Cricket and Mantis continue their training when a snowstorm comes around and they have to take out some buff penguins, and Jimmy is being Jimmy, trying to impress the ladies, but he instead tries to pull a Fonz in the worst way possible.
Told you these games were weird.
These levels were more of a breeze than the previous, didn't have many problems besides the occasional slip-up. The forms were also becoming more entertaining and fun, like I wasn't expecting to use the IR motion camera, but I shouldn't doubt Nintendo to work it in somehow. I am a little bit annoyed with how they're expecting me to stand and then squat to pick up my Joy-Cons. Thank God for the modern invention of a desk or a tabletop or a brother.
Continuing on, we're on to Dribble and Spit, still waiting for them to get their own sci-fi show. Nintendo is just making their own mini-series entry after entry, and they never cease to be entertaining. With all the crazy situations they find themselves in, this time they're in a boat race. But their taxi cab is always ready for any situation, so we're gonna win, right? I mean, it's me. You guys know I win at all the games.
The addition the duo brings is button pressing to the forms. Remember those? You can totally forget their existence with all these motion controls. And it's actually harder than you think, as you might have to contend with both and have no idea what you're doing like I am. Again, this is all still a learning process, just need to replay these more and more, and it'll become second nature after a while. Except for this cavity filling one.
How am I supposed to do this as a booga?
Now to my usual favorite level, when 9volt and company come around. Seems like his mom and friends get trapped inside this sketchy looking shop. Now 9volt needs to brave his fear of the dark and rescue them all deep within. I've always said 9volt is my spirit Nintendo character, as he's a fan of both the retro and modern, and his microgames reflect that. Though I will have to question at least one inclusion.
Oh, you...
I don't recall 9volt adding too many modern titles with his microgames, but they all blend in well, though a few could use a better frame rate. But in the end, we got through after tackling the infamous Mario 64 slide, and found out everyone was just freaking out about all these games back here. And this Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff comes to a satisfying conclusion.
We're at the final stretch.
Skipping past the next remix to come right back to Wario. It always comes back to this greedy, pink-nosed elf guy, and he's gotten himself in more trouble, touching what he shouldn't, clearly not learning anything from Indiana Jones, so now he's a raging volcano, and the elders say the only way to calm him down is by the power of our dance moves.
That's the last thing you want to see is this white guy dancing, so I'll let Jimmy take it from here.
The last level will have only Wario-based microgames, and they're usually the toughest of the bunch, and yes, I had my struggles with some of them. Kind of embarrassing coming up as a wee kid where you have to do this most of the time, and that comes around as we have to do these sick dance moves.
But that doesn't stop me from losing, and this recovery pose is the most appropriate. It's like, oh shucks.
Well, with a quick continue, I got to the end boss, which is some sort of dancing game, but I honestly believe it does nothing but make you look silly. We were able to calm the cursed volcano, and Wario is inadvertently treated like a god. Seems like everyone is having a blast, except for you-know-who as the credits roll.
Always a quick trip with these WarioWare games. Now I got all this spare time on my hands. Guess I could talk about something else like Sonic Superstars. The latest of the Blue Blur's outings is a 2D multiplayer calling back to his roots. This came out a few days before Mario Wonder, but which game do you think I was going to talk about?
The story ending never means the game is done just yet, for there's additional games opening up elsewhere.
And today I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to set up a camera so y'all can watch me move it around as I finish going through these extras.
The first one available to us is Mega Game Muscles. No real story behind this. Guess Dr. Crygor just wants to work out with a deity. This is a different type of game I'm not familiar with. We have to complete 20 microgames and will be graded on efficiency or muscular density throughout. Sounds simple enough, right? Turns out this was going to be more difficult than I thought. I don't know why, but I constantly struggled going through these additional games. It wasn't just this one. I eventually got through this workout so I could get to whatever lied ahead, and it was only more pain, so I decided to make a montage out of it, so I hope you all enjoy my suffering.
Aww.
Close one.
The fuck was that? Bullshit.
That was close.
Fuck! I couldn't see it because my fucking pen was in the way.
Watch it.
Come on! What the fuck, man? Okay. I don't know how many times I've attempted this to try and reach 30, but at this point, it's pretty embarrassing. What? I was right now! 20 points, and it's all hard right off the bat. Here we go.
Don't mess
I'm never good at that. On my first try. First try starts off hard as nails, and it's all over even if you fail once. Might there be a reward for at least getting 10 points? So, it was hard to get 30. I got 20 easily on the hardest difficulty per se. Now, with one life, can I get 10? What? Never know what to do, man. They're throwing all the hardest ones.
That's me.
Oh, god damn it. Thank you. Damn it! Ah! God. Fucking pilot wings. Gotta be shitting me. What? What? Okay. Sitting down. I fucking see, because I can't fucking do it standing up. You know what I look like? I look like C.B. Walker from this angle. Num 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 num. Oh boy. This really pisses me off, man.
Wear the ring.
They had to do that one. What are you supposed to do with that one? God damn it. Fuck. Oh, God, man, you're killing me.
How many candles?
5. Damn it. Fucking IR motion camera fucked me. Yeah! I don't care. Fuck this.
That was worth it, wasn't it? Going all the way to Dirty Job, which is a fair shout to have this microgame gimmick turned into a full-fledged minigame of sorts. It's like a forward-scrolling shooter, but WarioWare is going to have you shoot at dirty cutlery as opposed to anything space-themed. I was close to making it to the end, but the dirt was too much.
I say that, and I live here.
Last thing to highlight are the 2-player party games, and as an added bonus, I convinced Mama Blue to join in on the fun, and it was a decision I did not regret. We had a hilarious time going through these games, or at least it was fun for me trying to teach her how to play.
I poked it! I'm a poker!
I also had a fun time going through those that I was familiar with. Go the Distance and Listen to the Doctor were fun to revisit. For one of us, anyway.
Are you gonna do it? Yeah. It's too late.
The new games were pretty fun too. Medusa March was easy to understand, also played off another microgame idea.
Oh, God. It's so hard to see.
Galactic Conquest was a true highlight of this package, a board game that has elements of Wobbly Bobbly from Mega Party games, where all the microgames are somewhat originally made for it. It was a bit of a struggle to figure out some of it, of course.
Don't tell me I missed it too. God!
But the real pain in the ass was landing on a space as you had no idea what was going to happen.
Yay!
Well, that sucks.
1. What?
Woo! Mama! Roll the die and subtract the results from
Oh! That stinks. 6. 4, 5, 6. What's that?
Minus something.
God. I give half of that? That's 80 points. No. I'm gonna get a 4.
2.
Oh, God.
Oh, you need to go home.
My God. This game's never gonna end.
The kicker being you don't have to be the first to make it to the rocket to win, just have the most points, which I thankfully had after reaching there first.
Yay! Game over!
Oh,
Good game, Mama. Good game.
I unfortunately couldn't show that last game over yonder or the ones beyond single player, as that requires an additional controller.
The only other ones I got have Joy-Con drift, among other problems wrong with them from years past. I guess I need to get some new colors.
But that's as much as this WarioWare game goes, but it's still as fun as the ones that came before. It may take a bit to get used to some of these motion controls, but it still nonetheless has the charm we all expect and enjoy when it comes to these games.
And it only goes to show it's a better idea to go vacationing with Wario than it is Mario. You can fight with me all you want, I still don't like sunshine. So with all that being said, what's my overall opinion?
My love for the WarioWare series continues to grow with every entry. Every single title brings something intriguing and fun, and even when they go back to a similar concept, the devs can still make it an enjoyable experience. Move It took what made Smooth Moves great and kept on that train of fun, going to an island setting and letting all the characters have the time of their lives and creating more wacky motion control games. Though I won't say it's perfect, like any games that require a scheme of this nature, there's going to be a learning curve with specific microgames. But with enough patience or one-on-one practice, you'll be able to figure it all out and have the best time on your getaway vacay. You know I'm going to tell you to grab it when you can, a definite step up from Get It Together in my opinion. Not to say that entry was bad, but WarioWare has arguably been better when you got the moves. I'll say it once and I'll say it again, when is Waluigi going to make his debut in the series? I have no idea where they could go next, but adding the tallest and leanest of the Wa wouldn't be a bad idea in my mind. He could throw his own spin on the games or come up with more. I just want more Waluigi in any way possible, people. So what do you think? Do you agree with me, or have your own thoughts? Let me know by leaving a comment. If you like what you see, like the video with those thumbs up. If you think anyone else would like this vid, share it around. And if you want to see more of me, this show, and others, hit the subscribe button. I'm BrianTheBlue, thanks for watching. I'm going back to the past, and until next time, I'll see you in the future.